Robot umpires are officially coming to the MLB games this spring training. So MLB was reported as saying that they're going to test out 13 spring training sites across 19 teams. Are going to test out these robot umpires. The experimentation of robot umpires has already started. If I don't know if you guys have known this, but in the minor leagues for the past 5 seasons, they have what we call the yes, there you go, the review challenge system, where a pitcher or a catcher, if they don't like the strike, if they don't like the ball, if they want to challenge it, they tap their head. Caveat to that is you have 2 seconds after the pitch is made, challenge it. If not, you lose it. Each team gets 3 challenges per game. This is kind of a hybrid blend because the umpires are still calling the game. Where MLB has also experimented with umpires having a earpiece in their system where uh, robots or computers have the automatic strike zone, literally relays the message, ball or strike, in their ear, and then they make the call, ball, strike. The thing about this is that the hybrid is vastly more popular than the automatic balls and strikes. More players are enjoying the tap on the head versus having the robot strike zone or the automatic strike zone or whatever.
I don't think this is going to work that long. I don't think it's
well. So here's the thing. So MLB is obviously still experimenting with it, but Manfred called the 2026 regular season a viable possibility for the ABS, the automatic balls and strikes, meaning the robot umpires, depending on how things go this spring training. But the only thing standing in the way from making this a thing is the umpires and their CBA. And so whatever moving forward, the human umpires have to agree in order for this to go forward, which obviously they're not going to agree, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, Goody, I honestly don't think their union is just as strong as ours are, because obviously they can mess up and not have to talk unless they want to. I think there's a lot that goes into it because the ABS it's algorithmically based, and it is one of those things where it's 53% of your height. So obviously, Aaron Judge's strike zone is completely different than Jose Altuve's. Are you going to be able to transfer that? And if you have a glitch, how does that affect the game and the pace of the game? Because that's one of the things they tried to move on to is the pace of the game. So I don't think the umpires will approve it. I think there's 13 ballparks they're going to use it in. He says it's very viable for 2016,
26.
but I think or 2026, excuse me.
Yeah.
Where they're using 53% of that height. I don't know how that translates.
Yeah, that was one of the balls that I had, is that everything is geared toward making MLB a faster
go on
pace.
to the next one, Goody. You gotta
Yeah,
go.
this is it. This is the long conversation. We're gonna have a conversation about this. This is a little bit different. It is a little bit different, but anyway, so that was, everything is geared toward making the game faster, speeding it up. We want, they preach in spring training. They don't care as long as the TV deals are in place. We want games at 2:59. It doesn't matter. So if it's 2 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds, as long as there's a 2 instead of a 3 in front of that game time, that's all that matters. And I think this is definitely, as to your point, Joba, like, this is going to slow the game down even more. Especially if guys are challenging constantly. I know you get 3 of them, but of course we're going to use all 3 of them. And then, like you said, with the ABS, like if there's a glitch in the system, how do you go from Judge to Altuve back to Stanton? You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I don't like it. I don't think it's going to happen. The other thing I really don't like is that you're taking the human element out of the game of baseball, right? So those umpires that, like, and some people do, they grow up wanting to be umpires. Like, that's what they want to do. They want to officiate games. They want to, call games, call the World Series, all that. And that's great. But if you take that out, aren't you taking away jobs?
You're still going to have, you still have to have that element of them, because what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to make it a complete robotic game where they still got to call the guy out at home? Now, what if the technology goes bad, right? You still have to be able to make the adjustment on the fly. What they've done in the PCL and AAA and is basically just use the strike zone as this instead of actually having the full ABS system where it's the algorithm and size and 53.5% of your height in the top height of the strike zone. So I wouldn't mind just the tap of the strike zone. I wouldn't mind that whatsoever because everybody's strike zone is different, and if you're going to use the box, it is what it is. That adjusts to obviously the height without the algorithm, and it's like, hey, that was out. Boom, you're here. He turns, looks. He has the earpiece in. All right, boom, no strike, ball.
So
And it
they
moves
actually
fast.
they actually
they
play
liked
it
it.
on they play it on the jumbotron, so you can
Yep.
see it. I think as a player, I would like that because there's a lot of calls or check swings that I would be like, hey, I'd be tapping my head constantly, right?
They
Like,
did check swings in the Arizona Fall League this year too.
and how'd that turn out?
Like garbage.
Yeah,
That's why I
Well,
don't think it's going to work. I think what they're using right now, the screens and finding the strike zone, I think that the refs, the umpires could look at that and call a strike and look at that and have like something in front of them. Maybe have something on the field that you can look, like an iPad or something that they can it's not an iPad, but something that connects to their arm that they can watch the play every time there's a strike. So they can make the calls. I think that would make more sense than having robotic strike, robots or something. A referee has something. They have so much technology. Why can't a ref have like something on his arm to watch it and actually see the strike if it's in the strike zone?
almost like a buzzer,
Yeah.
If it buzzes, it's a strike.
Vibrate or not.
Yeah, something like that. I think that makes more sense than the crap that they're trying to discover or figure out. Of course, that's Rob Manfred's way of trying to slick his way before he retires or leaves the baseball in 2026.